ladies and gentlemen, there are moments in life when everything around you seems silent. You pray, but the answer does not come. You work hard, but the reward feels delayed. You stay faithful, but the breakthrough still seems far away. In those moments, the greatest battle is not outside of you, it is inside of you. It is the battle between faith and fear, between trusting God and doubting His timing. The Bible says in Ecclesiastes, "To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under heaven." That means your life is not random. Your delays are not accidents. Your waiting season is not punishment. God is a God of timing, and when He moves with purpose. Many people lose hope because they compare their timeline to someone else's. They see others succeeding, getting promoted, getting married, building businesses, achieving dreams, while they are still waiting. But you must understand something powerful today. God does not operate according to human clocks. He operates according to divine purpose. Just because someone else's blessing arrived earlier does not mean yours has been canceled. A seed planted in the ground does not grow overnight. For a long time, nothing appears on the surface, yet beneath the soil, roots are developing. Strength is forming. Preparation is happening in silence. And one day, what was hidden suddenly begins to rise. In the same way, God may be working beneath the surface of your life right now. Even when you cannot see movement, heaven is still working on your behalf. Some of you are tired because you have been waiting for years, waiting for healing, waiting for restoration, waiting for financial breakthrough, waiting for doors to open, waiting for peace to return to your heart. But hear this clearly today. A delay is not a denial. Just because it has not happened yet does not mean it will never happen. There are blessings God cannot release until the right season arrives. Why? Because timing matters. If certain doors open too early, you would not be prepared to handle what comes with them. Sometimes God delays the blessing because He is protecting you from becoming overwhelmed, distracted, or destroyed by something you are not ready to carry. Think about the strength of a tree during a storm. The taller the tree grows, the deeper the roots must become. God often spends more time developing your roots too. Showing your fruit. People celebrate visible success, but they do not see the hidden preparation behind it. They do not see the tears, the prayers, the lonely nights, the battles, the disappointments that built your character. And perhaps that is where you are today. You are in a season of preparation, a season where God is strengthening your faith, teaching you patience, building your endurance, and shaping your spirit. It may feel uncomfortable, but growth often happens in hidden places. Do not allow discouragement to make you quit too soon. Many people walk away right before their breakthrough arrives. They stop praying one moment too early. They give up one season before harvest. But your responsibility is not to control the timing. Your responsibility is to remain faithful while you wait. Faith is trusting God when you do not understand the process. Faith is believing that God is still good even when life feels unfair. Faith is waking up every day with confidence that what God promised will eventually come to pass. Sometimes God removes certain people from your life because they cannot go where He is taking you. Sometimes He closes doors because greater doors are ahead. Sometimes He allows silence because He wants you to trust His heart and not just His hand. You may not understand every delay, but one day you will look back and realize that God was ordering every step. You will realize that what felt like rejection was actually protection. What felt like abandonment was actually preparation. What felt like waiting was actually God aligning the right people, the right opportunities, and the right circumstances for your future. There is something powerful about learning to trust God's timing. It brings peace to your spirit. When you truly believe that your life is in God's hands, you stop panicking over every delay. You stop forcing doors open. You stop chasing things that were never meant for you. Instead, you begin walking with confidence, knowing that what belongs to you will arrive at the appointed time. And let me remind you today that God has not forgotten your prayers. Every tear you cried, He saw it. Every sleepless night, He was there. Every moment you felt weak, He was sustaining you even when you did not realize it. Heaven is not ignoring you. God is not absent from your story. The enemy wants you to believe that nothing will ever change. He wants you to think your situation is permanent. But seasons always change. Winter does not last forever. Darkness does not last forever. Trouble does not last forever. Your current chapter is not your final chapter. There is a time coming when the doors will open suddenly. Opportunities will appear unexpectedly. Healing will happen completely. Restoration will come fully. The very thing you almost gave up on will become the testimony that inspires others. But while you wait, do not waste your season. Continue growing. Continue praying. Continue trusting. Continue becoming the person God created you to be. Waiting seasons are not empty seasons. They are training seasons. God often does his deepest work in the waiting. He teaches you to depend on him instead of circumstances. He teaches you that true peace does not come from having everything figured out. It comes from knowing who is in control. And maybe today you feel forgotten. Maybe you feel behind in life. Maybe you are wondering when your moment will finally arrive. But hear this with all your heart. Your time is coming, not according to fear, not according to pressure, not according to society's expectations, according to God's perfect will. The same God who opened doors for others can open doors for you. The same God who restored broken lives before can restore yours. The same God who made a way in impossible situations is still working miracles today. Do not let temporary frustration make you abandon eternal promises. Hold on to your faith. Hold on to your hope. Keep believing even when the evidence is not visible yet. Some of God's greatest blessings arrive after the hardest seasons of waiting. Your story is still being written. Your breakthrough is still possible. Your purpose is still alive. And at the right time, in the right season, in the right way, God will make everything beautiful. There are seasons in life when nothing seems to make sense. You pray for change, but the situation remains the same. You work hard, but the results are delayed. You stay faithful, but the doors you hoped would open remain closed. In moments like these, it becomes easy to question whether God still remembers you. It becomes easy to wonder if your prayers are reaching heaven at all. But one of the greatest lessons a person can learn is that God's timing is always perfect, even when it feels painful. Human nature wants immediate answers. We live in a world that moves quickly. People want success instantly, healing instantly, and breakthrough instantly. But God often works slowly because he is more concerned about preparation than speed. He understands what you need before the blessing arrives. He knows the weight of the future you are praying for, and he will not release certain things into your life until the right season comes. Many people become discouraged because they compare their journey to someone else's journey. They see others moving ahead while they feel stuck in the same place. They wonder why someone else received the opportunity first. They wonder why someone else's prayers seem to be answered faster. But comparison is dangerous because God writes every story differently. What he is doing in another person's life may not be what he is doing in yours. Just because someone else's season has arrived does not mean your season has been forgotten. A farmer understands the importance of timing. He cannot rush the harvest after planting the seed. There is a process that must take place beneath the surface before growth becomes visible. The seed must develop roots before fruit can appear. If the harvest came too early, the crop would not survive. In the same way, God often develops your character before he reveals your blessing. He works on your patience, your faith, your wisdom, and your strength, because the future he has planned for you requires maturity. Sometimes what feels like delay is actually protection. There are doors you wanted desperately that God intentionally kept closed because he could see what you could not see. There are relationships he removed because they would have distracted you from your purpose. There are opportunities he delayed because the timing was not right. Later in life, many people look back and thank God for the prayers he did not answer immediately. Trusting God's timing means believing that he sees the entire picture while you only see one moment. You may feel frustrated because you cannot understand why things are happening the way they are, but God knows the beginning and the end. He knows every detail of your future. He knows who should be connected to your life and who should not. He knows which doors will bring peace and which ones will bring pain. Faith becomes strongest when there is no visible evidence. Anyone can trust when everything is going well, but real faith continues believing even during silence. Real faith wakes up every morning with confidence that God is still working behind the scenes. It refuses to give up simply because the answer has not appeared yet. There are people listening today who feel tired from waiting. You may feel like life has passed you by. You may feel forgotten because your breakthrough has taken longer than expected. But God has not abandoned you. Heaven has not overlooked your tears. Every prayer you whispered in private has been heard. Every sleepless night has been seen by God. The danger in difficult seasons is becoming impatient and trying to force things to happen on your own. When people stop trusting God's timing, they often make emotional decisions that lead to unnecessary pain. They walk through doors God never opened. They settle for less because they are afraid of waiting longer. They allow pressure to push them into situations that were never meant for them. But when you truly trust God, you learn how to wait with peace. You stop chasing what was not designed for you. You stop panicking when things do not happen according to your schedule. You understand that if God promised something, He will bring it to pass at the right time. His delays always carry purpose. His timing is never accidental. One of the hardest seasons in life is the waiting season. It is the place where you cannot see clear progress, where prayers seem unanswered, and where the future feels uncertain. Yet many people fail to realize that some of God's greatest work happens during the waiting. While you are asking God to change your situation, He is often working to change you. While you are focused on the destination, God is focused on your development. Growth does not always happen in visible ways. A tree can stand for years before it becomes strong enough to survive powerful storms. Beneath the ground, roots are spreading deeper and wider long before anyone sees the full beauty above the surface. In the same way, God often develops spiritual roots in your life during seasons where nothing appears to be changing. What feels like delay may actually be preparation for a greater assignment. Many people pray for success, but they are not prepared for the responsibility that comes with it. They pray for influence, but they have not developed the wisdom to handle it. They pray for open doors, but they have not yet learned the discipline needed to remain faithful after the door opens. God understands that blessings without preparation can become burdens. That is why He sometimes slows the process down. The waiting season teaches patience in a world that demands instant results. It teaches humility because you realize how little control you truly have. It teaches dependence on God instead of dependence on your own understanding. Sometimes God allows you to reach the end of your own strength so that you can finally discover His strength. There are lessons you can only learn in difficult seasons. You learn how to trust God when emotions tell you to give up. You learn how to remain faithful when there is no applause from others. You learn how to pray when nobody understands your struggle. You learn how to walk by faith and not by sight. Some of the strongest people are not those who never struggled. They are the ones who kept trusting God through disappointment, silence, and uncertainty. Their strength was not built during easy seasons. It was built during moments when they had every reason to quit but chose to. Keep believing anyway? God often uses waiting seasons to shape your character. Character matters because success without character can destroy a person. Many people want the blessing, but they do not want the process that prepares them to carry it wisely. Yet God cares more about who you are becoming than about how quickly you arrive. During waiting seasons, hidden battles are often taking place inside the heart. Pride is being removed. Fear is being challenged. Faith is being strengthened. Sometimes God allows delays because He is teaching you how to trust Him completely instead of trusting temporary things. There are moments when you may feel forgotten because your progress is not visible to others. People may overlook you. They may misunderstand your season. They may assume nothing important is happening in your life. But God does some of His greatest work in private places. Before David became king, He spent years as a shepherd where nobody celebrated him. Before Joseph entered the palace, he endured seasons of betrayal and imprisonment. Preparation often happens in hidden places before promotion happens in public places. The enemy wants you to believe that waiting means failure. He wants you to think that because things are taking longer than expected, your future is hopeless. But waiting with God is never wasted time. Every season carries purpose. Every challenge carries lessons. Every delay carries preparation. Sometimes God removes distractions during waiting seasons because He wants your focus completely on Him. He allows uncomfortable situations to teach you endurance. He allows certain relationships to end because they cannot go where He is taking you. What feels painful today may eventually become part of the testimony that strengthens someone else tomorrow. The truth is that growth is often uncomfortable. Change requires stretching. Faith requires uncertainty. Maturity requires challenges. But the process you are in today is shaping the person you will become tomorrow. One day you will look back and realize that the waiting season was not empty at all. It was the season where God built your strength, deepened your faith, and prepared you for the blessings you once prayed for. There comes a moment in every person's life when they feel like giving up. The pressure becomes heavy, the waiting becomes painful, and the silence becomes difficult. The key to understand: you pray for change, but nothing seems different. You hope for breakthrough, but the struggle continues. In those moments, the enemy whispers lies into your mind, telling you that your situation will never improve, that your prayers are being ignored, and that your future is already defeated. But you must remember this truth: your breakthrough is still coming. Just because you cannot see movement does not mean God is not working. Some of the greatest miracles happen quietly before they become visible publicly. A sunrise begins long before the first light appears in the sky. In the same way, God may already be arranging things behind the scenes that you cannot yet see with your natural eyes. Many people lose hope because they focus too much on their present circumstances. They allow temporary pain to convince them that nothing will ever change. But seasons never stay the same forever. Storms eventually pass. Darkness eventually gives way to light. The difficult chapter you are living in today is not the final chapter of your story. There are times when God allows people to walk through hardship because hardship builds strength. A person who has never faced struggle often lacks the depth, wisdom, and compassion that come from overcoming difficult seasons. Some of the strongest people are those who survive seasons they thought would break them completely. Your breakthrough is not only about receiving a blessing. Sometimes the breakthrough is becoming stronger emotionally, spiritually, and mentally than you were before. Sometimes the greatest miracle is the transformation happening inside of you while you wait for change around you. You may feel delayed, but delayed does not mean defeated. There are blessings that require time because God is aligning the right opportunities, the right relationships, and the right circumstances. What you are praying for may be connected to things happening beyond your understanding. God sees the entire picture while you only see one small piece of it. Many people in life quit too early. They stop believing one season before the harvest arrives. They give up praying one moment before the breakthrough comes. They walk away because they cannot handle the waiting anymore. But faith means continuing to trust even when there is no visible evidence yet. Think about how gold is refined through fire. The fire is up, comfortable, but it removes impurities and reveals strength. In the same way, difficult seasons often refine people. They remove pride, fear, bitterness, and doubt. They teach dependence on God instead of dependence on temporary things. Some of you have cried private tears that nobody knows about. You smiled in front of others while carrying heavy burdens inside your heart. You kept showing up even when you felt exhausted emotionally. You continued believing even after disappointments tried to steal your hope. And God sees every moment of that struggle. Never believe the lie that your life has no purpose simply because the process is taking longer than expected. God has not forgotten your name. He has not abandoned your future. What He promised still matters, even if the timeline looks different from what you imagined. Sometimes breakthrough comes suddenly after a long season of waiting. One phone call can change your future. One opportunity can open doors you never expected. One moment of favor can reverse years of struggle. God has a way of changing situations faster than human understanding can explain. The challenge is remaining faithful while nothing appears to be happening. NG? It is easy to trust God after the breakthrough arrives, but real faith trusts Him before the answer becomes visible. Real faith continues praying when the situation looks impossible. Real faith keeps believing even after disappointment. There are people who are stronger today because they refuse to quit during their hardest season. They learn that pain is temporary, but purpose remains. They learn that failure is not final unless you stop trying. They learn that God can restore what seemed completely lost. Your current struggle is not permanent. The fear you feel is not permanent. The confusion you feel is not permanent. God specializes in bringing life out of hopeless situations. He opens doors no one can shut. He creates paths where none seem to exist. He restores broken dreams and gives strength to weary hearts. One day you will look back and realize that the season you almost gave up in became the season that changed your life forever. The pain taught you endurance. The waiting taught you faith. The struggle taught you dependence on God. And the breakthrough that finally arrived will remind you that God was faithful the entire time. There are moments in life when God asks you to keep moving forward even when you cannot clearly see the path ahead. These are the moments that test the depth of your faith. Anyone can believe when life feels comfortable and predictable, but true spiritual strength is revealed when a person chooses to trust God during uncertainty. Some of the greatest victories in life begin with seasons where nothing makes sense. Fear has a powerful way of making people doubt their future. It whispers that failure is coming, that the dream is too big, that the obstacles are too strong, and that the situation will never change. Fear causes people to focus on what they have lost instead of what God is still able to restore. It traps them in worry, anxiety, and discouragement. But faith does the opposite. Faith looks beyond the current situation and believes that God is still in control. Many people spend their lives waiting for perfect conditions before they move forward. They tell themselves they will trust God when they see more evidence, when the circumstances improve, or when the answers become clearer. But faith often requires movement before certainty appears. It requires believing before seeing. It requires obedience before re-understanding. Think about the moments in life when everything seemed impossible, yet somehow God still made a way. There were situations that looked too broken to fix, burdens that felt too heavy to carry, and battles that seemed too difficult to survive. Yet step by step, God brought you through things you once thought would destroy you. The same God who carried you before is still with you now. Sometimes people become so focused on what they lack that they forget what they still have. They forget the strength God already placed inside them. They forget the prayers that have already been answered. They forget the doors that already opened in the past. Gratitude is powerful because it reminds the heart that God has been faithful before and will remain faithful again. Life will always contain moments of uncertainty. There will be days when the answers do not come quickly. There will be seasons when you feel emotionally exhausted. There will be moments when you question your purpose and wonder if your efforts matter at all. But those are the moments when you must choose faith over fear. Faith does not mean pretending problems do not exist. Faith means believing that problems not greater than God's power. It means understanding that even when circumstances look impossible, God is still able to create opportunities, healing, restoration, and breakthrough. Many people allow fear to stop them from stepping into the future God prepared for them. Fear tells them they are not good enough, not strong enough, not talented enough, or too late to begin again. But God has never depended on human perfection to accomplish His plans. Throughout life, He often uses ordinary people who are simply willing to trust Him one step at a time. There are people today who are carrying silent fears deep inside their hearts. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of being alone, fear that their best days are already behind them. But fear becomes dangerous when it controls decisions. It causes people to stay trapped in places where they no longer belong because they are too afraid to trust God with the unknown. Growth always requires courage. You cannot enter a new season while holding on to every comfort from the old season. Sometimes God calls people to leave behind familiar situations so they can discover greater purpose ahead. The process feels uncomfortable because Fa often stretches people beyond what feels safe. Even in difficult seasons, God continues working behind the scenes. He sees every obstacle before it appears. He understands every battle before it begins. Nothing catches him by surprise. While you are worrying about tomorrow, God is already present in your tomorrow, preparing the way ahead. The enemy wants people to become discouraged because discouragement weakens vision. It causes people to focus only on present pain instead of future promise. But hope is powerful because it keeps the heart alive during difficult seasons. Hope reminds you that your story is not over yet. There are breakthroughs waiting on the other side of perseverance. There are blessings connected to obedience. There are opportunities connected to faithfulness. Sometimes the greatest miracle is simply refusing to quit when everything around you tells you to give up. One day you will understand why certain doors closed, why certain delays happened, and why certain battles were necessary. You will realize that even during the hardest moments, God was shaping your character, strengthening your faith, and preparing you for a future greater than you imagined. Ladies and gentlemen, as we come to the end of this message, remember that your life is not controlled by accidents, delays, or disappointments. God has already written every chapter of your story with purpose. The seasons of waiting, the nights of confusion, the moments of silence, and even the painful battles are all part of a greater plan that you may not fully understand right now. But one thing remains certain: God never wastes a season. There will be times when you feel discouraged because the answers have not arrived yet. There will be moments when you wonder if your prayers are being heard. But do not allow temporary emotions to make permanent decisions. The same God who brought you through yesterday is still guiding your tomorrow. He sees what you cannot see. He knows what is ahead of you. And He is working behind the scenes even when life appears still. Do not compare your journey to someone else's journey. Your timing is different because your purpose is different. Some blessings take longer because they carry greater responsibility. Some doors open later because God is preparing you to handle what is behind them. What feels like delay today may become the very reason you succeed tomorrow. Keep trusting when the road feels uncertain. Keep praying when the answers seem delayed. Keep believing when fear tries to enter your mind. Every challenge you face is building strength within you. Every season of waiting is teaching you endurance. Every disappointment is preparing you for something greater ahead. And one day, when God's perfect timing finally arrives, everything will make sense. The tears will make sense. The waiting will make sense. The closed doors will make sense. You will realize that God was protecting you, shaping you, and leading you toward a future far greater than what you could have planned for yourself. Your breakthrough is coming. Your healing is coming. Your restoration is coming. Your season will change. The darkness will not last forever, and the struggle will not define your future. Hold on to your faith, because God is still writing your story, and He never fails those who continue to trust Him. Trust God, stay faithful, and never give up, because your time is coming.